Okay, great. Hello everyone. I just want to say to begin with, I can't believe how much movement and stuff I've done so far today. It's 11 o'clock and I've had morning movement at 8, then Susan's class at 8:15 or 8:20, then I did my class at 9, and then Susan's other class at 9:30. It's incredible. And I've just been for a 3-mile run, and now I'm going to do another class. So it's like, I've almost like done a whole week's movement in the morning. So it's really great. So thank you everyone for making it possible. So we're going to do a little bit of Bothmer movement stuff. We'll probably do it for about 15-20 minutes and then we'll talk a little bit maybe. I'd like to try the breakout rooms thing, if we can do that, and then we'll finish off together. So if you could find a place in the room where you can stand and move your arms around so you've got enough space. And I'd like you to stand with your feet shoulder width apart. And just look at your feet as they connect with the floor and then head back up again. And feel your feet on the floor. Gently soften your knees. You could imagine that there's someone rubbing your knees with their hands, a little bit of warmth around your knees, just gently softening. Put your hands on your back and just let them drift down your bottom or the sides of your bottom. And that will just do that a few times. That will just gently encourage your tailbone just to tuck in. So it's just an indication of that little gesture down there. Rub your hands together, building up some warmth in your hands. And just place your hands on your heart. Feel that warmth in your heart. You might want to, wherever's comfortable for you. Good. And then just paint a smile across your chest. Just paint a smile across your chest, a gentle sort of a opening across your chest. And imagine that you've tied a heavy cloak to your chest and it's hanging down the back of you and just gives so it's tied here, it's coming up here and just hanging down the back and giving this gentle impression or a feeling of a movement down the back of your body, which gently lifts you across here. Then have your hands hanging loosely by your side. Just gently turn like your body and just check that your hands are really hanging loosely. And they should just swing around like some rope, something heavy on the end of a rope. And just really check that your shoulders are letting go of all that tension. Good. And then finally, if you just either imagine there's a little thread just gently drawing you up from your crown. I think it's your crown, it's like the very center of your head. And you could even, I sometimes like just grabbing a few strands of hair and absolutely not pulling them, but just sort of gently gesturing, oh, what would it be like if I had a little thread just drawing me up from my crown? There we are. So our body's feeling nice and grounded and centered. And just enjoy that feeling. And then I'd like you to just trace the edges of the room, the places where the wall meets the ground, with your eyes. So just go on a little journey with your eyes around the edges of the room, keeping that nice softness in your knees and the nice smile across your chest and the gentle lifting from the crown. And just tracing your eyes around the screen, around the edges of the room, the corners, and just broadening your awareness to all of the space that you're in. And then moving not just to the edges, but also to the planes of the room, to the flat planes. And as you go around, just notice any times that any little judgments come up in your head, like, oh, those curtains are horrible, I wish I could have changed them. Or I need to fix that door, or oh, why haven't I tidied that up yet? And just notice those little judgments and let go of them. See if you can really observe your room with equanimity, with complete lack of judgment. Cool. And now I want you to stand on your left leg raise your right leg off the floor. All of your weight pouring down through your left leg, and then transfer to your right leg all of your weight off the floor. Sorry, all of the weight off your left foot onto your right foot. And now just keep this process going. So it goes up here, you just pause for a moment either side in your own time, you don't need to be in time with me. And it's just, I want you to create a sense that there's a pendulum swinging backwards and forwards. And you want to get this movement as smooth as possible. So it's just swinging backwards and forwards. And there's this little moment at one side where there's kind of like a weightlessness. You could play around with coming up onto your toe for that little moment at the top of the crest of the arc, if you like, the place where the ball just hovers for a moment when it goes up to the side. Or you might prefer to keep all of your weight fully on a flat foot and just experiment with those two feelings and try and get this nice pendulum sort of effect. And noticing any places where it's a bit less smooth, just trying to iron those out, ironing out the creases in your movement there and making it nice and smooth. And then continuing that pendulum feeling, but not taking any foot off the floor. So we're feet shoulder width apart, but we're just transferring from fully to one foot and then fully to the other. And so now it's a much more subtle movement, but still the weight is transferring fully from one foot to the other. Just checking in with your shoulder, carry on with this and checking in with your shoulders, just checking that your shoulders are really relaxed and your hands are hanging softly by your side. Continuing this pendulum and try and make the movement more and more subtle. So your body stops moving, but the weight is still transferring between either foot. So the body, it's not going to be still, but it's going to be less and less of a movement. And it becomes more of a movement just in the feet. And then imagine the pendulum's coming to a stop and it slowly kind of comes to a resting point at the center and your weight is equally balanced between your 2 feet. Good, just checking in with your knees, maybe a little gentle stroke down your tailbone or two, just to check that's all tucked in, a smile across your chest, a cloak going down your back, a thread holding up your head. And then going forwards and backwards, just letting your weight gently rock forwards and backwards. Again, you could have that image of a pendulum and looking for how smooth you can make this. The movement doesn't need to be big. You don't need to feel like you're almost falling over. We're more interested in a smooth movement between the two centers of gravity. So from the heels or the balls right through to the toes and the front of the foot. And then let the pendulum slowly come to a halt and standing in the middle between front and back. Checking in with your knees, a little warmth around your knees. You can just give your knees a little warmth. Give them a little warmth there. And then standing up again, tailbone, gently stroking the tailbone. Smiling across the chest, cloak down the back, thread at the crown. Cool. And then draw your shoulders up towards your head and then go and let it all go. And draw your shoulders up to your head and sigh as you let go. Ready and good. Draw your shoulders up to your head and draw your shoulders up to your head and do that a few more times in your own time. Good. And now put your arms out to the side. And then I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, drop. And on drop, we're going to just let our arms fall and hit the sides of our legs. 3, 2, 1, drop. Good, take a little moment at the bottom there. Just checking in with your shoulders. How do they feel? Arms out to the side. We're going to do this a few times. 3, 2, 1, drop. And that little moment, as your hands hit, just see how they sort of let them just do what they do at the end and see what happens. Arms out to the side. 3, 2, 1, drop. Good. And then this time, checking in with your shoulders as you drop and see if you can let go of everything instantly. So is there any holding on, or can you let go of all of it at the same time? 3, 2, 1. Good. And again, 3, 2, 1, drop. Checking in with your knees, your tailbone, the smile on your chest, your shoulders, your crown. Arms out to the side. 3, 2, 1, release. Good. Very nice. This time, arms are going to go out to the side, and we're going to give ourselves, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to give our hands the minimum amount of guidance they need to swing up across the front of our body. So we still want that, let's just do this a few times while I'm talking. We want that minimum level of influence from our human selves. I can put that better. So we want the minimum change of direction from the hands. So if I was to do too much, it would be more of this, and I'd be guiding it too much. Maybe do that a few times where you're over controlling the movement, and you're just you're not really letting go. And then once again, do the time where you let go and you just give it the minimum amount. Let's just do that a few times. I'm going to bring my legs a little bit wider and enjoy this kind of swinging movement. I'm just going to let it go in constant motion. Nice swing. And as my arms go out to the side, I'm just reaching out there, and I'm reaching for the horizon, and then it sort of drops like that. I'm finding my knees wanting to join in a little bit with the activity as we go down, just a little bit, but you can do whatever feels right for you. I'm really noticing we're trying to become aware of my shoulders as we reach the horizontal there, and have a little moment of connection with the infinity either side there. Good. And shake it up. And let's take this into the exercise now. So we'll go from we'll go into a jump. Before we jump, let's just warm up our knees a little bit. Okay. And we'll start off with the if we stand with our feet together, and we're going to imagine that this jump coming towards us from the edges of the room. It comes towards us, and it 3, 2, 1 jumps us, and just jump to horizontal. Good. Let's just do, and then let's go back to our swinging and do 3 swings, and then start again. Good. Feet together, and noticing your feet where they touch the ground, the smile across your chest, the cloak down your back. Taking your awareness to the edges of the room, or the edge of the space, or even beyond, and see that jump coming towards you, and yeah, and swinging 3 times. And trying to connect with that infinity as you get to horizontal every time, but then let go of it straight away. Cool. Once again, feet together. Here it comes, here it comes. Yeah. Very nice. We'll go further into the exercise now. Ready? Here it comes. 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Oh, I just hit the ceiling. So let's go again from here. resting on the horizontal, waiting for a moment. There it is. Swing back up. Last one. And down. Very nice. Okay, I'd like to pause there for a moment. So we've got about 8 minutes left, but maybe we go a couple of minutes over. I'd just like to try the breakout idea, or maybe we don't need to. There's not too many of us. Let's just try it. Let's do a break, two rooms, and we can have a little chat. And I'd like to give you a little something to talk about, like a couple of ideas that we could talk about in our breakout room. So I'll say them. If I say those now, then we can go into our breakout room. Katie, could you explain how the breakout room works, please?
So hello everyone again. The breakout room. Kevin, can you see the link for breakout room at the bottom of your screen? It should be next to chat, or as a co-host, you should be able to do
Advanced sharing options?
No, further over on the right. Can you share your screen just for a second?
Yeah, sure.
The reason I'm asking is because I'm on my mobile phone, and when you're on a mobile phone, you can't organize the breakout rooms.
Okay.
So if you go to, actually, maybe it won't work. I would maybe suggest that, because we're only doing half an hour today, if on Thursday you're leading again, we can do the breakout room there, because that's 1 hour.
Okay.
And then I can make sure I've got the laptop on, so I can either do it, or we can maybe check this before Thursday to see that you can do it as well.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yes, cool. So I'll unmute everybody now so that everyone can participate in a discussion.
Okay, great. So the things the little things I wanted to share were a quote by Eckhart Tolle and a quote by Bothmer. And the quote from Eckhart Tolle is, "We need to become consciously aware of the habits of the body." Become consciously aware of the habits of the body. And the quote from Bothmer, "We need to develop consciousness in the will activity of the limbs."